What's up, guys? Good morning and welcome back to our channel. Before we get started, make sure you guys go ahead and click the subscribe button down below and the little bell thing so you guys can get notified whenever we post new videos. So this video is a little different than the content that we are currently posting on our channel. So for those of you subscribers who have been here from like the past 2 weeks that we started this channel, it's mostly been like a family type thing. But just being that I always get a lot of questions regarding like how I got into nursing school, and you know, how did I survive nursing school, and how I studied for the NCLEX. I just wanted to go ahead and post a quick video just to give you guys I guess some insight from, you know, my nursing experience. So most of you may not know, but I am a pediatric mental health registered nurse. So I currently work in a mental health facility that treats patients from the ages 4 to 18 on our acute unit, and we see patients for all different reasons, whether it's schizophrenia, depression, aggression, but I'll get into all that probably in another video. I started nursing school back in 2016, and the program that I went to was accelerated, so it was only an 18-month program. It's a little different for me because I was military straight out of high school, so I had like the whole GI benefit thing, and you know, I actually received money for going to school. So my experience is probably slightly different from most, especially most back home. But yeah, so started nursing school in 2016. To study for the initial entry test, which is like the TEAS exam, I just went on Amazon and ordered like a TEAS exam study guide for that year or previous year, and I just studied that. But it was like basic math, reading, science, stuff like that. So I guess it's a little difficult if you haven't been in school for a long time and you kind of forgot how to do, like, you know, the basic fractions and stuff like that, because I definitely had forgotten, and I was only out of school for about 5 years before I took the test. But I mean, that's 5 years without doing any type of schoolwork, you know. So yeah, but I definitely, yeah, I used the TEAS exam off of Amazon, and then when I actually got accepted into the program, I just was using the study material that they were providing us. Things didn't start to get real challenging until we got to pharmacology, which honestly, if you're struggling with identifying drugs and remembering like what drugs belong to what class, what I learned was separate them into the last part of the name. So like most blood pressure drugs are either, you know, like the beta ones are gonna end in like the OL, something like that. But yeah, so when you break it down into different group classes, it makes it easier to remember. And then I mean, obviously, you know, I still don't remember all the drugs, but when a person says a drug and I'm like, oh, okay, well, that sounds like it belonged to this class, and you know, like 9 times out of 10 I'm correct of which class it belongs to. Then you know, people always ask me like, well, how did you survive going to nursing school and being a full-time mom? Well, like I said, I used the GI Bill during my nursing school, so I was actually, you know, given money to go to school, so I didn't have to work. And then my fiance, he also helped take care of the kids, so we put them in a home daycare from, I went to school from 9 to, I think, like 9 to 2 or something like that. So from the time that I was in school, they were at the daycare, and then, you know, I had the option to either leave them there till about 5, and some days I did do that. You know, I would go home, study, you know, and then I would go get them, which it did kind of make me feel bad because I'm like, my kids are right down the block and, you know, they should be home. But it's like nursing school, the amount of work that we have to do and learn is so immense that you really need to learn how to take time and just study. So yeah, so I mean, I had to get more comfortable with, you know, leaving them at the sitter for 4 hours, but it all pays off in the end. And then, like I said, throughout nursing school to study and stuff, I used the material that they provided us. And I have like ADD, so 9 times out of 10 I wasn't paying attention in class. Well, I guess 10 times out of 10 I didn't pay attention in class. So I would have to like go home and legit skim the chapters myself and try and just try and pick out things that I felt was important. So one thing I did learn was that when I was studying a certain chapter, I would go to the back of the chapter and they will have like these objective things. So I would like review all those objectives and then go through the chapter and see if I can find the answers to those objectives, because clearly those objectives are like the most important parts of that chapter. Well, the author believes that. So I felt like I should know that. And then knowing vocabulary. So objectives and vocabulary is how I studied inside the textbook. So going towards like the end of our program, a lot of people would use like Kaplan to study. My school had switched to the ATI study material like in the middle of our cohort. So we didn't really get to learn Kaplan that much. So once we switched over, I just stopped utilizing Kaplan. And then even with the ATI, like I didn't really like the style of questions. I found it very confusing. So I always felt like, you know, I wasn't going to pass the ATIs, but I mean I still did okay. I think the only one I had issues with was the med surg one. Yeah, I think it was the med surg one, and it was just mostly because those answers, the way like it was worded and the way they wanted you to pick it, my brain did not, it definitely wasn't working the same way as everybody else's was working. But I mean I still ended up passing it. Towards the end, so I would say like about March, I started utilizing UWorld. So I wasn't even using my school study material, wasn't using ATI, wasn't using any of that. UWorld, I used UWorld from March to June, and I would say after taking the NCLEX, UWorld was like the most, it had the most similarities comparing, you know, when comparing it to the NCLEX. So I would definitely recommend UWorld to anyone who is currently studying for their NCLEX, or you know, your NCLEX is coming up. Like I said, I started studying in March and I had the 2000 questions one, and I think by the time I took my NCLEX, I had only 300 unused questions left. So I studied like a lot. Like I would try and do, so when I first started, I would try to do like 30 questions, and then I would do the ones that I got wrong. So that's why I like UWorld, because they would let you, so let's say you start off with 2000 questions, then you do 30 questions, right? Of those 30 questions, the ones that you got wrong, they filter into an incorrect like tab. So you can go back and redo those questions you got wrong. And also the way UWorld breaks down their questions and their explanations to the answers is amazing. Like I said, I will recommend UWorld over anything. I also had purchased one of those NCLEX prep things. And you know, like I'm thinking, okay, it's NCLEX prep, so this might be good. Didn't like it. The style of questions were different, and for some reason, like whenever I read a question on UWorld after studying it for like a couple weeks, I was able to read the question, break it down, and get the right answer. As to where the NCLEX prep thing, I would think that I'm breaking it down the correct way, and I don't know, maybe I was like misreading a word or something, but I barely got anything right. Now psych, I did perfect on the psych part, but when it came to like the med surg and the pediatrics, I never did good on the NCLEX prep one. But yeah, so even like I recommended UWorld to like family members and friends who also like agreed, like, you know, UWorld is the app to go to when you're ready to take your NCLEX. So definitely it is a little expensive, but I would say do it, because once you pass your NCLEX, like you'll make that money back in no time. Now preparing for the NCLEX, when you guys are like when you guys graduate, don't set your NCLEX date out so far because you are afraid that you're not ready, like you might fail. Because what happens is you tend to lose, even though you're like continuing to study, like it's like you tend to lose knowledge as well. So what I did was I graduated in May and I scheduled my test 3 weeks out. And definitely don't schedule your test on a Friday, because I scheduled mine on a Monday, and the next morning, like that night, I was like, my anxiety level was immense. Like I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. Like Tuesday morning I got up so early, and I'm like, you know, this didn't help me at all, because I was trying to sleep late. By the time I checked my information, it would be up there, but yeah, that didn't work. So I was up all morning, waiting, checking, and then like around 11, that's when it came in. But for those who schedule their test on Friday, you guys have to wait the entire weekend to get your results. And if you're okay with having that much anxiety, then go ahead, do what you got to do. But as for me, I don't like that feeling. So those of you who, like, you know, kind of agree with me, don't do it. Don't set it for Friday, set it for a weekday where the next day isn't a holiday or something like that, so you can get your results the next morning. But yeah, so this was my quick video on just how I did things while in nursing school and how I prepared for the NCLEX. If you guys like this video, go ahead and give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe and just stay tuned for more videos. Like I said, this channel isn't geared towards just nursing things. It is a family-oriented channel as well. So if you guys have kids, you know, let them subscribe, watch our videos, and thank you for watching.